Hello. This is entitled The Dishwasher. About 1971, our only television was still a black and white 1956 21-inch General Electric Pacer with fall mahogany finish. It did not receive UHF stations, only VHF. You pulled out a button to turn it on and pushed the button back in to turn it off. When the GE would break, television repairmen with arms as thick as my dad's legs would come to the house and carry it away, one on each side of the set. 2 weeks later, the television would return in working order. But one day, in 1971, when the GE once again refused to turn on and the frighteningly large television repairmen took it away, we received a phone call from their shop telling us that the television was gone. It was not worth repairing. The GE had been the only television I had ever known. I mean, in my house. My Uncle Alex, who lived in Crestview, had a Zenith Space Command, a color console, 25-inch beautiful television with a push-button remote control. There were 3 buttons on the remote. One you push to change the channel, one to change the sound, and one to turn it on and off. Each button had a lengthy travel, and when you pushed it, you heard air escape from the remote. Obviously, Uncle Alex was rich. My hopes ran high that we might also get a Zenith Space Command, or maybe even Quasar by Motorola, or if in my dream, a Sony Trinitron. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything. There was no entertainment left in the house whatsoever. While there was my dad's Westinghouse portable record player that looked like an orange and white square suitcase. It had a hard plastic gray turntable and arm. You changed the needle from 45 RPM to 78 RPM with a little lever at the end of the arm. For the first few days, I would play 45s on the portable, but as I only had 5 records, and they were all discarded radio demos that my mom had bought for a dime at the First Presbyterian Church rummage sale, I grew tired of them quickly. Also, changing the spindle collar from one 45 to another so that they would fit on the 33 spindle was an unintended additional chore, with perils of breaking the 45 always in the forefront. I began playing my dad's 78s. This was fun for a while, because although they were scratchy and often had full chunks missing off the edge, they moved so fast around the turntable that the concentric motion of the grooves themselves was as fascinating as the music on them. As the record played, I watched the grooves dance, constantly bumping up against and shoving away from the labels, Decca, Victor, and Capitol Records. It was great, and yet I eventually became bored of This Old House, Would You Like to Swing on a Star, and Tammy, and gave up the 78s. I tried to interest myself in my show and tell. This looked like a television with a record player on its roof. You would play the 45 size but 33 speed records it came with, while a film strip encased in stiff cardboard was shown on the screen. Problem was I was 10, and the show and tell programs I had were Winnie the Pooh, Stuffy the Tugboat, and other things that a 10-year-old would never be caught dead watching. And so, desperate for entertainment, electronic entertainment, that is, I began to watch The Washing Machine. Our washer was a white Kenmore that was older than me and looked it. Inside its lid, the drum was dark gray and the agitator was black, with 15 years of encrusted laundry soap cemented to it like periwinkles. I discovered that you could turn it on and keep the lid open for the entire wash cycle, from the water filling the drum, through all the agitation, right up to the drum draining again. Sadly, though, I had to close the lid to let the machine go into its spin cycle. There was a safety switch that would not allow the machine to spin unless the lid was shut. My mom was extremely happy with my new interest because in order to pursue it, I was constantly looking for laundry to do. But my inability to witness the spin cycle with my eyes troubled me. Oh sure, I could lift the lid in the middle of the spin cycle, and I would see the clothes spin for a little, but it was just inertia. As the motor had shut down the moment the lid came up, and the clothes soon started to fall from the drum walls onto the agitator, and the drum came to a halt. Then one day it came to me. I found a pencil, and I put it into the safety switch, where the little prong on the lid would go. The tub filled, the agitation went beautifully, the tub drained. This was the moment. The dial clicked over to spin, and the drum began to turn. Faster, and faster, and faster still. The clothes all moved up the walls of the drum. Every minute or two, water sprayed onto the clothes as they spun. It was marvelous. Suddenly enlightened, I took the clothes out of the washing machine and put them into the dryer. The dryer's mysteries had yet to be revealed to me, as it would not run without the door closed. But now I knew how to discover its secrets. I pushed my trusty pencil into the dryer safety switch, and I sat there watching it tumble dry for an hour. Occasionally a sock or a pair of underwear would spill out onto the floor, but mostly the clothes stayed inside. I felt complete. I could wash an entire load of laundry go from dirty and dry to wet and clean and dry. What a wonder. I then realized that I could do the same with the dishwasher. Now, I couldn't do it with people around. No, I had to wait. I bided my time until one day when I was homesick and my brother was off at school and my dad was off at work. My mom went into the backyard to do some gardening and I had my chance. Carefully, I loaded the dishwasher. I poured detergent into both the open tray and the one with the little roof you slide into place over it. I took my trusty pencil and jammed it into the dishwasher's safety switch. I turned the dishwasher on, and nothing happened. I was baffled. The pencil was in deeper than the prong on the door. What could be wrong? I played with it for about 10 minutes before I figured out that maybe the lock on top of the door also had to be closed. So I swung the latch into the closed position and turned the dishwasher on again to see if it would work. Suddenly, a wall of water. No, let me state that better. An express train of water, as high and as wide as the dishwasher itself, and scalding hot, shot out of the dishwasher, through the kitchen, over the dining room table, and against the wall on the other side of the house. It was feral water. Ferocious and desperate to get out of the house, and it wouldn't stop. It was like watching a freight train roll over a grade crossing, only the boxcars were made of water and there was no end in sight. It soaked the Persian rug in the dining room, completely filling it with water. It took paint off the wall. I somehow, in my shock, managed to turn the dishwasher off. When my mom came back into the house and discovered the dining room looking like a swimming pool, I swore to her that I had no idea how all the water got there. She was stunned. It was beyond anything she could imagine. She wanted to catch me in a lie. She knew I had done it, but there was no possible way she could figure out how I had got that much water, that much hot water, mind you, into the dining room. I continued to deny responsibility and tried to play detective by pretending to help her figure it out. We went into the attic together and searched for any leaks in the roof. We searched the basement to see if somehow water had jumped up through the floor. She called the plumber, who told her the only way it could have happened was someone took a hose into the dining room. But as my mother had been outside with the hose, she knew that wasn't it. I never did fess up. Eventually the rug dried, the wall got repainted, and everyone forgot about the incident. I'm thinking I might tell her one day what really happened. I'm just not sure when.